Hello, and welcome to Beating Heart Disease. My name is Kevin Wells, and I am a heart disease survivor. I had a quadruple bypass about a year and a half ago. Today we're going to talk about aged garlic and how it can help prevent blockages, how it can stop blockages in their tracks, and maybe even reduce blockages in your arteries, which is something you really want to do if you're a heart patient like me who has 10 blockages in their heart. I have two 100% blocks in my heart, a 99% PLAD. Of course, they were bypassed, but the blockages are still there. It'd be great if I could find a way to just dissolve those suckers away. So, aged garlic's what we're going to talk about today. Let me just start out by saying I am not a medical professional. I'm not a doctor. I'm not a researcher. I'm in no way associated with the medical field. So, anything that I suggest here, I suggest you talk it over with your doctor and, see if it's something you should add to your routine. Do your own research on things. Don't trust some strange random guy on the internet that tells you to do something. Do your own research. Check for interactions. Garlic is very, 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 very safe. It's been around for thousands of years. So trust me, you would know if it was dangerous by now. But still, do your own research. Make sure it's something that's safe for you. Again, check for interactions, that kind of stuff. So let's dive into it. Like I said, I've been taking garlic for about a year and a half. And I found a television report that had a study where they took, I don't remember how many people were in the study, but this doctor had them take Keolip garlic for a certain amount of time, and then after that time he did angioplasties before, or angiograms before and after they took the Keolip garlic, the period that they took it, and it showed that all of them had stopped the progression of their blockage, and some of them had actually reduced the blockage in their artery. So it was something where I'm like, okay, well, I'm getting some of that. I'm gonna look into that first, and then I'm gonna get some. Once I figured out, okay, it's safe. There's plenty of studies on it that show that it's very good for you. I got some. So the other great thing about it is cheap. This is a 300 capsule bottle. I take two capsules twice a day. So this is about 2.5 months supply for $25. So $10 to stop the progression of blockage in my heart, or possibly prevent or reduce the blockage in my heart. That's a pretty darn good deal. That's way cheaper than most prescription meds if you don't have insurance that's covering most of it. This is a good preventative measure if you don't want to go to the hospital with heart problems. And it's a great thing if you already have been and you're trying to not go back to the hospital with more heart problems. So I would highly recommend aged garlic. So let's go into why it works. Now, aged garlic has cardioprotective effects, basically is what it is. And it reduces your blood pressure, which obviously that's a good thing for your heart. It reduces cholesterol, another good one. It reduces the calcium in your artery. Calcium is actually one of the things that causes the plaque to harden in your arteries. So if you can reduce the calcium, that's awesome. It decreases the arterial stiffness of your arteries. Now, when you take a blood pressure reading, that's actually detecting when your arteries expanded out as much as possible and when it's contracted. So you want it to be as flexible as possible. You preferably want a wide reading when you take a blood pressure reading, because that means your arteries are really, they're expanding and contracting a lot. If you have readings where you're closer together, that means your arteries are starting to get stiff. So you don't want stiff arteries, hardening of the arteries. This aged garlic actually prevents hardening of the arteries. So another awesome cardiovascular effect that it has. It also reduces your CRP, which if you've had any kind of heart problem, if you've been to the ER, they check your CRP to see if you're having a heart attack. CRP is inflammation. It's checking for a certain kind of inflammation that your heart, it's an enzyme or whatever, a protein that your heart gives out when it's been damaged. This actually reduces CRP. So it's obviously reducing the inflammation of your heart, which is great. Now, if you've had heart problems, you need to put inflammation as the bullseye of the thing that you're trying to prevent, because inflammation is like death. It's like our kryptonite for heart patients. Inflammation is kryptonite for us, so we need to reduce inflammation, and aged garlic does that. So another great benefit. It also fights the oxidation or oxidative stress. Now, what happens when cholesterol collects in your arteries? It oxidates, and then it dies, and then it hardens, and then you get hardening of the arteries. So if you can keep the oxidation from happening to the cholesterol, it doesn't die, and it stays flexible and stuff. So, less likely to, harden and crack and then break off and then cause a blockage somewhere else. So, another great benefit of aged garlic. I mean, this is just a wonderful thing. And it's extremely safe. Like I said before, it's been used for thousands of years. So trust me, if it was dangerous for people, you would have heard about it through your ancestors and that kind of stuff. Oh, garlic, stay away from it. Garlic is extremely safe. And the only thing that it might do a little bit of, it thins your blood just a little bit. But, the only thing you might have an interaction with is warfarin, which warfarin affects, interacts with everything. So that'd be the only thing I'd be a little careful if you're taking warfarin, but it's probably not going to cause any problem. I was on Plavix when I was taking it, clopidogrel, whatever you want to call it. Had no issues with bleeding, had no problems at all with that. So anyway, so what does aged garlic actually do? Well, they actually, in order to produce it, they take garlic and they soak it in alcohol for a long period of time, hence aged garlic, and it makes it so it gives off a lot more of the allicin is the good compound that's in garlic. It's a sulfur type compound, which is why you kind of have a smell after you eat garlic. Nice thing about aged garlic is it doesn't have that smell. Your friends won't be like standing away from you and trying to stay away from you when you eat it. It's not it doesn't cause that sulfur type smell, but you still get the same benefits of the allicin compounds. It's actually S-allicystine and all other allicin compounds are amplified when they age it. Now, I take raw garlic too, because I feel like I take raw garlic twice a day, 2 cloves twice a day, just crunch them up and eat them. I still think raw garlic has its certain benefits that aged garlic is not going to have. There's a compound in garlic that dies within the first few minutes after you age it, or if you damage it, and in eating it within that time frame when it's still activating that sulfur compound, one of the allicin compounds. I still think that's a really good thing for your heart. So I still take the raw garlic, but I've been taking the aged garlic a lot longer, and I think any heart patient should look into this. But there was a study, one of the studies, there's multiple studies, I'll post a link below of the study. It was of 65 firefighters, and they took about half of them, they gave them half of them the aged garlic with CoQ10, and they gave the other half a placebo. And then after a year, they checked the elasticity of their arteries, and the half that had been taking the garlic and the CoQ10 had way more elastic arteries. So hardening of the arteries is what causes heart disease. So you want to keep your arteries nice and flexible. That means the calcium hasn't gotten in there and it hasn't hardened. The oxidation hasn't gotten there and made it harden. Made that hard. So your arteries are still nice and flexible, or their arteries were still nice and flexible. So there's many studies on this. I highly recommend you dive into the world of aged garlic, because it's going to really help you, whether you're young, whether you already have heart disease. Pretty much anyone I think can benefit from this, cardiovascular wise, and there's also other, it prevents inflammation, so it's going to help other things, but I'm just talking about heart issues here. So anyway, if you found this video informative, please subscribe, and next time I make a video or something, I'll let you know that I've made one. Also, if you liked it, give me a thumbs up. Kind of lets me know that these are worth making and that kind of stuff. I try to make one of these once a week or so, but every now and then I get an idea, and I'll just go ahead and make one because they're fun to make, and I like sharing information. I'm trying to help people out. That's all I'm trying to do. I just want to help people. I want to help people that experience the same things that I have experienced, and I want to help my children to not have to ever go through this, and I want to help your children not to ever have to go through this. I want to find a cure for heart disease, at least a way to manage it better, but I really would love to find a cure and eliminate this disease from humankind. And I think building a community who puts our head, if we put all of our heads together and really come up with different supplements, different natural remedies, different even medicines. I mean, there are some medicines that aren't that that are good for heart disease patients, but it'd really be great if we could find something natural to solve this problem. But anyway, if you like this video, like I said, please subscribe, click a thumbs up, and thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time.